Fiqh, the understanding of Islamic law, has guided Muslim life for more than 1,000 years. It's more than a set of rules. It's a system of values, of justice, faith, and order, shaping how people lived, traded, worshipped, and ruled. In the early centuries during the Abbasid Caliphate, Islamic scholarship reached its golden age. Baghdad became the heart of knowledge. Scholars sat in candle-lit libraries, discussing Quranic interpretation, hadith, and rulings that would form the four major madhabs: Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali. But as time moved on, power shifted. New rulers emerged, and with them came new challenges. The Abbasid intellectual tradition found its successor in the Ottoman Empire, a vast and diverse realm stretching across Asia, Europe, and Africa. The Ottomans inherited the legacy of the Abbasids, yet they gave fiqh a new face, blending classical Sharia with local customs known as urf and state decrees called Qanun. It was the start of a new chapter where religion, law, and empire met. When the Ottoman Empire rose to power, it carried the intellectual legacy of the Abbasids, but gave it new structure. The sultans understood that a vast empire, stretching from the Balkans to Arabia, could not rely on local rulings alone. To ensure unity, they adopted the Hanafi madhab as the official legal school, chosen for its flexibility and depth of reasoning. Judges, known as qadis, were appointed from trained Hanafi scholars. Their duty was to apply fiqh consistently, while addressing the unique realities of each region within the empire. Over them stood the Shaykhul Islam, the empire's highest religious authority. Appointed directly by the Sultan, he guided the interpretation of Islamic law and issued fatwas that shaped imperial policy. Among the most celebrated was Ebu Suud Effendi, who worked closely with Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent to align Sharia with Qanun, creating harmony between divine law and state governance. Through this system, the Ottomans achieved a rare balance, a centralized legal order grounded in faith, yet adapted for the realities of power and empire. While Islamic law remained the foundation of the Ottoman justice system, the empire's vast and diverse nature demanded flexibility. Alongside Sharia, the Ottomans introduced the Qanun, imperial decrees issued by the Sultan to regulate matters not directly addressed in religious law, such as taxation, land use, and military affairs. This dual system, Sharia for divine principles and Qanun for state policy, created what historians call legal pluralism. Under Sultan Suleiman, the lawgiver, with guidance from Ebu Suud Effendi, this balance was perfected. The Qanun never overrode the Sharia. Instead, it complemented it, ensuring both justice and order across the empire. This harmony between the sacred and the administrative became a defining feature of Ottoman governance and one of its greatest legal legacies. Despite the seemingly flawless legal system built under the Ottoman Empire, with its courts, its Qanun, and the guiding authority of the Sheikh al-Islam, this very perfection began to hide its own weakness. What once inspired creativity began to value repetition. Taqlid, imitation of established rulings, became the safe path. The doors of ijtihad, once wide open for exploration, slowly closed. Scholars devoted themselves to preserving the works of their predecessors, producing mutun, core texts, shuru, commentaries, and hawashi, marginal notes. It became a tradition of echo upon echo, deep in scholarship, yet hesitant in renewal. In this time, the Sheikh al-Islam remained powerful, but the empire's legal thought became rigid, guarding what had been achieved rather than questioning what had changed. Yet not everyone accepted this silence. From different corners of the Muslim world, reformers began to challenge the comfort of taqlid. Figures like Ahmad ibn Taymiyyah, centuries earlier, had already planted the seed, insisting that every generation must return directly to the Quran and Sunnah. Later, scholars such as Ali al-Shawkani, Ahmad ibn Abdul Rahim, Jamal al-Din al-Afghani and Muhammad Abduh rekindled that fire, calling for the revival of ijtihad to meet the modern age. They believed that faith must adapt, not by abandoning tradition, but by breathing life into it once again. The call for ijtihad, for renewal, did not fade into silence. By the late Ottoman era, the empire faced new realities. Diplomacy, trade, and governance demanded a legal system that could speak both to tradition and to modernity. The empire began to reinvent how fiqh worked in practice. Reformers within the Ottoman administration realized that the classical fiqh books, though profound, were not easily applicable in courts and bureaucracies that now handled diverse cases. In response came one of the most defining legal projects of the modern Muslim world, the Majalla al-Ahkam al-Adliya. Compiled between 1869 and 1876, the Majalla was a monumental work, the first official codification of Hanafi fiqh, transforming centuries of jurisprudence into 16 practical books of law. It spoke in a language of articles and clauses, much like modern civil codes, yet every principle within it was grounded in fiqh. This was more than law. It was a bridge between Sharia and the needs of a changing empire, between faith and modern administration. Even the Sheikh al-Islam's office played a role in ensuring that the codification respected religious legitimacy, while reformers and bureaucrats shaped its form for practical governance. The Majalla became a symbol of renewal without abandonment, a proof that Islamic law could evolve, yet stay true to its principles. It later inspired modern civil codes in countries like Jordan, Egypt, and Malaysia, continuing the Ottoman vision of fiqh that breathes with time. In its pages, one can read the final triumph of Ottoman scholarship and the quiet beginning of the modern Muslim legal identity. Despite centuries of influence and a legal system admired for its balance between divine law and governance, the Ottoman Empire began to lose its strength. By the 17th century, internal stagnation had set in. The once vibrant scholarship of fiqh grew rigid, scholars relied on inherited rulings, and ijtihad slowly disappeared from practice. Religious and legal institutions, once the pillars of justice, became symbols of repetition rather than renewal. The empire's courts still echoed with Sharia, but the world around them was changing. Meanwhile, Europe surged ahead. Explorers like Columbus and Vasco da Gama discovered new trade routes bypassing Ottoman-controlled lands. The wealth that once flowed through Istanbul began to drift toward the Atlantic. Military defeats followed. The empire's armies lagged behind in technology and strategy, and its economy struggled to keep pace with industrial Europe. In this era of crisis, even fiqh, the guiding spirit of Islamic governance, began to lose its central place. Colonial powers imposed foreign legal systems, while Ottoman provinces drifted apart, fragmenting the once unified legal order. The fall of the empire was not just political. It marked the eclipse of a centuries-old legal civilization, a system that once harmonized faith, law, and power under one banner. Though the Ottoman Empire eventually fell, its legal legacy did not vanish. It evolved. Across the Muslim world, scholars, jurists, and reformers began to rebuild Islamic law for a new age. Codifications like the Majalla al-Ahkam al-Adliya became blueprints for modern civil law in countries such as Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. Yet, without a unified caliphate, fiqh lost its universal authority. Each nation began applying it within its own boundaries, often limited to family, inheritance, and finance law. In Malaysia, for instance, fiqh continues to guide personal law, Islamic banking, and national fatwa decisions. To address emerging global challenges, new institutions took the mantle. The Islamic Research Academy at Al-Azhar, founded in 1969. The World Fiqh Academy under the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. These bodies, along with national councils like Dar al-Ifta and Malaysia's Majlis Fatwa Kebangsaan, ensure that fiqh continues to respond to contemporary issues, from bioethics to modern finance. Yet challenges remain. In a world shaped by globalization, technology, and diverse ideologies, Fiqh must continually balance divine principles with the realities of modern life. Still, its endurance proves one thing. The spirit of Islamic jurisprudence is far from gone. It adapts, revives, and guides just as it always has. From the brilliance of the Abbasid scholars to the structure of the Ottoman jurists and the challenges of the modern age, Fiqh has never ceased to evolve. It has witnessed stagnation, reform, and rebirth. Guided by revelation yet shaped by human understanding, Fiqh remains a living tradition, a bridge between divine command and human society. To close this reflection, let us listen to a verse from Surah Al-Ma'idah, a reminder of Allah's command to uphold justice.
وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَمُهَيْمِنًا عَلَيْهِ فَاحْكُم بَيْنَهُم بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ عَمَّا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ لِكُلٍّ شِرْعَةً وَمِنْهَاجًا وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَلَكِنْ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِيمَا آتَاكُمْ فاستبقوا الخيرات إلى الله مرجعكم جميعا فينبئكم بما كنتم فيه تختلفون.
We have revealed to you, O Prophet, this book with the truth as a confirmation of previous scriptures and a supreme authority over them. So judge between them by what Allah has revealed, and do not follow their desires over the truth that has come to you. To each of you we have ordained a code of law and a way of life. If Allah had willed, He would have made you one community, but His will is to test you with what He has given each of you. So compete with one another in doing good. To Allah you will all return, then He will inform you of the truth regarding your differences. Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 48.